biggest issues facing advisors today, and really all entrepreneurs, is how to develop better work-life balance. Well, I'm here today joined by the author who's really written the book on this, Scott Ford. Your book, The Sustainable Edge. Talk to me a little bit about where the idea came from for you and Ron to work on this book.
Sure. Well, there's really two types of advisors. One that really is a workaholic, and I've lived that life and had good growth. And then two, one that is balanced, and they may work 30 some hours a week and have a great quality of life, but they're not growing fast enough to really keep A players on their team and reinvest in their business to give back and to bring more value to the people they're serving. We wanted to write the book because we've lived both of those types of advisors and now are congruent in that we think balance leads to growth and growth leads to balance. You really can have and do both.
Well, that's interesting because I think it goes beyond advisors. Everyone struggles with work-life balance. Why is that? Why do people struggle with this so much?
Yeah, I think business owners and entrepreneurs have different opportunities and different challenges, and this is one of them. And so they think that if they work, that's what it's going to take to continue to grow the company and to reinvest in people. And it's actually not quite that way because there's a law of diminishing returns. Okay. You work so far or so hard, you actually start becoming unproductive. You need to unplug, especially as an entrepreneur. Give yourself space and margin to think and have strategy and plan for the future. And then you come back, you've actually cut work hours out. Subconsciously you realize that and you actually become more productive, have more growth and more balance at the same time.
Scott, explain to me, where did this all come from to really put life first? Talk to me about your story.
Yeah, happy to. And certainly this doesn't have to happen this way for every advisor, but for me personally, in 1996, my son Jacob had a heart disease. It's called patent ductus arteriosus, and it required surgery at 6 months old. I'll say the good news is Jacob is now 20 and healthy and doing wonderful. At that time, however, when it's your son and they're in a diaper and they're going through surgery and you're looking at them, you recognize just how short life can be and how fragile it is. And that really seared in me the importance of really wanting to make a difference and get real clear what I want to do, right? I was doing wealth management at the time, but I wanted it to be deeper and more meaningful. So I put a lot of thought and time into what's most important to me. What are my values? And I came up with 6 things. I came up with spiritual, family, health, career, philanthropy, and finances. And so I wanted to really do such a good job in the financial pillar that people could focus on their pillars in life, and so that was meaningful. The challenge I had, though still to this day, I really was clear on what those pillars were. They've not changed, but for years I was incongruent in living them. Because if you looked at my calendar back in the late 90s and early 2000s, I was candidly a workaholic and I was not spending as much time with my family as I wish I would have and should have. And then I went to the other end of the spectrum where I started having a lifestyle practice and I would take my kids to school and I'd pick them up every day, but I wasn't growing at the pace that I needed to. Today, I feel very congruent and more balanced than ever. And how I do it is, and it's in the book, it's called the IQ Grower process, okay? So the first thing to get clear on is what's the 6 things you value most? And I was already clear on that, as I said, back to 96. But now, having those 6 values, I then, on a weekly planner, I use a planner pad. And at the top of this planner pad, it's getting away from technology and it's more paper bound. What it works for me, I'm tactile. I'll write up top, spiritual, family, health, career, philanthropy, and finances each week. And so I'm clear of what needs done. Then the night before, I'll put the 6 most important things that I need to accomplish the next day, pulling from those 6 areas, and then that bleeds onto my calendar. Because at the end of the day, what's on your calendar are your priorities, no matter what you say they are. And so today, I feel very balanced in all 6 areas.
Now, advisors really struggle. I know I struggle with making sure to line up those values with those priorities. How do you do that? How do you make sure the daily grind doesn't bleed into, these bigger priorities in life? Yeah,
it does come back to the 6 most. So you have the 6 things you value most. Okay. I literally write them down each week. Then I list underneath of them, what do I want to do in that area so that I'm doing something that week in the area. If it's that big of value, why not have something I should be doing, right? So my example, I have family each week and it's written on the top of my planner. I'm gonna list something, whether it's a date night with my wife, a phone call to my kids, dinner with them, seeing my mom, whatever that might be, that's gonna then come down to my 6 most in the week, which is gonna find its place on my calendar, keeping me congruent with my daily activities, matching my values and what's most important.
I think for me, if I could just get the technology off my lap at night and a little more focused on the people I'm with, that'd be a huge step in the right direction.
Yes, I concur.
Absolutely. Well, the author, Scott Ford, the book, The Sustainable Edge, comes out in January 2016. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Matt.
For Investment News, I'm Matt Ackerman.